There is a monster living in our solar system, and recently it blinked. For decades, we thought we understood the giant next door. We mapped its stripes, we tracked its storms, and we assumed it was a stable, predictable gas ball. But then NASA's Juno spacecraft caught something that shouldn't have been there. Deep within a vortex near the North Pole, a blinding green flash erupted out of the darkness. It wasn't a glitch. It wasn't a reflection. It was a signal that the physics of Jupiter are far more violent and far stranger than anything we previously imagined. And this green light is just the beginning. From invisible electrical storms on Mars that could fry human technology, to the terrifying realization that our own planetary protector might actually be trying to destroy us. The solar system is suddenly looking a lot less like a clockwork model and more like a chaotic, dangerous arena. Today, we are tearing down the old models. We are going to explore these leopard spots that might prove Martians existed, the underground oceans hiding inside unexpected moons, and the creatures that could be swimming in the skies of Saturn right now. The universe is getting weird. Let's find out why. The story begins with that green flash. On Earth, lightning is simple. Water droplets collide, charge builds up, and snap, a white bolt strikes the ground. But Jupiter doesn't play by Earth's rules. The flash Juno saw was likely caused by mushballs, massive, slushy hailstones made of ammonia and water. These aren't just storms, they are violent vertical slush fests that generate electricity in a way we've never seen before. On Earth, lightning loves the equator. On Jupiter, the equator is silent. The lightning clusters at the poles, screaming out radio signals that baffled our sensors for 40 years. It suggests that deep down, Jupiter isn't just gas, it's a churning engine of exotic chemistry, whipping up storms that could swallow our entire planet whole without leaving a trace. But if Jupiter's lightning is too big to comprehend, our next mystery is terrifyingly small. We need to look closer to home at the rusty silence of Mars. For years, rovers sat on the surface and heard nothing, just the wind. But new data has confirmed that the Martian atmosphere is crackling with invisible power. It doesn't have rain clouds, but it has dust. And when those billions of dry red particles smash together in a dust devil, they generate static electricity. It's called triboelectricity. Mars is essentially a planet-sized dry carpet, and the wind is dragging its feet. Why does this matter? Because these tiny, invisible sparks, mini lightning, might be altering the very chemistry of the ground. They produce reactive chemicals like hydrogen peroxide. If you're looking for life on Mars, this is a problem. The planet might be accidentally sterilizing itself, bleaching the soil, and erasing the biological history we are so desperate to find. However, we have to look past the red planet for a moment, out into the deep freeze, because the map of our solar system is being rewritten. For generations, we were taught that Uranus and Neptune were ice giants, big balls of frozen water and gas. We were wrong. New simulations from the University of Zurich have shattered that image. It turns out these planets might not be icy at all. They might be wet, rocky worlds wrapped in a thin disguise of gas. This changes everything about how we search for habitable environments. If Neptune is rocky, it suggests the outer solar system was a chaotic shooting gallery during its formation, flinging massive rocks into deep orbits. And where there is rock and energy, there is heat. Look at Ariel, one of Uranus's moons. It's small. It should be a dead, frozen rock. But Voyager 2 sent back images of a surface that looked surprisingly fresh. It wasn't covered in ancient craters. It was cracked, scarred, and smoothed. Over. The only thing that does that is active geology, cryovolcanoes. We now believe Ariel is hiding a massive secret beneath its crust, a liquid ocean. Not a billion years ago, but potentially right now. A moon that should be dead might be harboring the greatest resource for life in the universe, sitting quietly in the dark, billion of miles from the sun. But let's bring it back to the king, because while the outer planets are confusing, Jupiter is actively baffling us. On Earth, we have seasons: winter, spring, summer, fall, caused by our planet's tilt. Jupiter has almost no tilt. It stands upright. It should have no seasons. Its weather should be uniform, predictable, and boring. It is none of those things. Scientists have discovered teleconnections in Jupiter's atmosphere, mysterious links where a temperature drop in the northern hemisphere instantly triggers a temperature rise in the south, thousands of miles away. The planet is breathing in a rhythm we don't understand. And then there is the great blue spot. You know the red spot, but the blue spot is a magnetic anomaly, an intense concentration of magnetic flux near the equator that is invisible to the naked eye, but screams out in the magnetic spectrum. And it's moving. It's being dragged westward by deep metallic winds buried thousands of miles down. It's our only window into the deep interior, a place where hydrogen is crushed so hard it turns into a metal and conducts electricity like a copper wire. But nothing compares to the face of the king, the Great Red Spot. For 400 years, humanity has watched this storm. It is a hurricane twice the size of Earth, spinning at 400 miles per hour. But if you've been watching the news, you know the red spot is in trouble. It's shrinking. It's flaking apart at the edges. But here's the twist. As it shrinks, it's getting faster. Like an ice skater pulling in their arms, the winds at the outer ring are accelerating. The storm is becoming more potent, more concentrated. And we still don't know why it's red. The leading theory? It's a sunburn. Colorless chemicals churned up from the deep are being cooked by ultraviolet radiation from the sun, turning them that distinct angry crimson. It's a storm that has survived for centuries, but we might be the generation that watches it finally die. And that brings us to the most uncomfortable question of all. Is Jupiter our friend? You've probably heard the theory that Jupiter is the vacuum cleaner of the solar system. Its massive gravity sucks up comets and asteroids, protecting Earth from extinction-level impacts. It's a comforting thought. Big brother Jupiter keeping us safe. But modern simulations suggest a darker reality. While Jupiter does absorb some threats, its gravity is so chaotic that it likely flings just as many rocks toward us as it deflects away. It acts like a sniper, pulling comets from the safe outer edges of the system and hurling them into the inner solar system. It's possible that the asteroid that killed the dinosaurs didn't just wander here. It might have been thrown at us by Jupiter. So if the planets are actively hostile, what about the life that might be clinging to them? NASA dropped a bombshell regarding Mars recently. The Perseverance rover found something called leopard spots. These are specific mineral formations, vivianite and gray patches on red rock. On Earth, we almost never see these spots forming without the help of microbes. They are chemical scars left behind by living things eating through the rock for energy. NASA isn't ready to say aliens yet, but these leopard spots are the closest we have ever come to a smoking gun. They suggest that billions of years ago, Mars wasn't just wet, it was alive. It was a petri dish. But ancient bacteria are one thing. What about complex life? What about creatures we could see with our own eyes? To find that, we have to speculate. We have to use scientific imagination. Imagine Saturn. It has no surface, just endless, thick, golden fog. Gravity there is similar to Earth's, but the pressure is immense. If life evolved there, it wouldn't have legs. It wouldn't touch the ground. It would have to float. Picture massive, jellyfish-like creatures living hot air balloons. They would drift through the upper atmosphere, harvesting lightning for energy or filtering nutrients from the clouds. They would need skin capable of withstanding acidic rain, and they would live their entire lives without ever touching a solid surface. Now descend into Jupiter. The gravity here is crushing. The radiation is lethal. A jellyfish would be torn apart. Life here would need armor. Imagine compact, tank-like creatures, biological submarines swimming through the metallic hydrogen ocean, withstand millions of pounds of pressure. They would likely be blind, sensing their world through magnetic fields and vibrations, hunting in the absolute darkness of the deep planetary ocean. It sounds like science fiction. But on a planet like K2141b, fiction is reality. This is an exoplanet beyond our solar system that makes Jupiter look like a paradise. It is locked to its star, meaning one side is eternal day, the other eternal night. On the day side, it is so hot that rock doesn't just melt. It evaporates. The atmosphere is made of vaporized stone. Winds blow this rock vapor to the night side where it cools, condenses, and falls from the sky. On K2141b, it literally rains boulders. It has oceans of lava 60 miles deep. It is a hellscape that defies logic, yet it exists. And then there are the black holes. We think of them as silent eaters, but astronomers have found evidence of black holes acting like galactic volcanoes. In a galaxy cluster 390 million light years away, a supermassive black hole erupted. It didn't just release light, it punched a physical crater into the surrounding gas of the galaxy cluster. This crater is so large, you could fit 15 Milky Way galaxies inside of it side by side. It reminds us that the universe is violent, on a scale our brains simply cannot comprehend. So what does this all mean for us? Sitting here on this quiet blue marble, it means we are lucky. We live in a universe of green lightning, raining rocks, magnetic anomalies, and planet-sized storms. We live next door to a gas giant that might be shielding us or hunting us. We are looking at leopard spots on Mars that might be the gravestones of our first cousins. The solar system is not a finished painting. It is a moving moving, breathing, violent engine. And every time we think we have figured it out, every time we think we know what Jupiter is or what Mars used to be, the universe blinks, flashes green, and tells us we have so much more to learn. There are mysteries out there waiting in the dark, and we are only just opening our eyes. If you want to keep exploring these mysteries with us, and if you want to be there when we finally find the answer to the red spot or the life on Mars, make sure you're subscribed. The universe is big, and you won't want to miss what we find next.